I'm Caitlin Matson, and this is The Green Room. With me in the green room is the executive director and co-founder of Music on Site, Brad Baker. They bring opera to Kansas every December. More than one opera, actually. It's essentially an entire opera season squeezed into 1 week of performances. Welcome, Brad. Thank you for being here.
Absolutely. Thanks for having me.
Can you just tell us a bit of the history of Music on Site? When was it started? What year are you in?
We started in 2016, and this is our sixth season of productions. And so we've been doing this for a few years now, and we now have sort of settled on a pattern of doing 4 to 5 productions each December, usually middle to late December. All in the Night Visitors is always our stable production. We always do All in the Night Visitors, and the other productions are usually rotating around. So. That's a little about us.
And you started this with your partner, your wife, Jen Stevenson, the both of you
Yes.
musicians and artists and educators. And
Yes.
when you started it, you lived here in Kansas and you were teaching here.
Yes. Yeah. We both lived in Newton, Kansas, and we were teaching at Tabor College, and we saw a need for a festival that really was accessible to those in rural areas, those who didn't necessarily want to come all the way to Wichita for a production, and also for producing free productions, free admission productions, because opera is expensive to put on, but it's also expensive to attend. And so all of our productions are free admission. So all you have to have is just an RSVP ticket, and you can walk right in the door with no money going out.
You have singers joining you from all around the country. These are not only local performers, although I'm sure you do have some local performers, but you have singers coming in. They're on, most of the time, they're students. They're on their winter break, and it's an opportunity for them to maybe learn a role and perform a role to put on their resume for the future.
Right, absolutely, yeah. And we have students who are in their undergraduate degrees, and so they're wanting to sort of start the process of the Young Artist Program circuit or ladder, if you will. And those who are quite a few rungs up in the ladder, and who are already performing title roles at companies and such, and just want to have more experience and maybe do a role for the first time. So that because it's hard to get hired for a role if you haven't done it before, so it's sort of that have to have a job to get a job situation. And so we provide that experience for a lot of those types of singers as well.
What are your performances? What are your operas this season?
So, as I said, Amal and the Night Visitors is sort of our standard show we do every year. It's a great sort of Christmas story, and one that has a lot of tradition behind it. So we have that. Don Giovanni, Mozart's Don Giovanni is a very popular show, of course. And so that is one of our shows we're doing this year. And Michael Ching, who is a fantastic opera composer, we're doing a work of his. We are only the third production of this show. It was finished in the spring of 2024, so this past spring. And it's on the life of Pauline Viardot, who was a fantastically famous opera singer of the 19th century and a fantastic pianist, actually. Just sort of a person about town in France. And so that show is Notes on Viardot. Notes on Viardot is in McPherson, and Don Giovanni is in Wichita, and then All in the Night Visitors is sort of all over. And then the last thing we have is an opportunity for our singers to just show a little bit about themselves in an opera scenes showcase. We have 2 productions or 2 performances of the opera scenes showcase, and these are just little snippets from operas um, that are both, those performances are both in Wichita.
And I see you do a couple of different performances at living facilities, which is wonderful. One at
Yes.
Larksfield Place, and then another one in Newton.
Yes, absolutely. Yeah. It's great
That's
to
great.
to meet those people where they are, because there are tons of opera lovers who maybe aren't
I
as mobile
mean,
as they used to be.
yeah, you're preaching to the choir. Our older generations have been custodians and stewards of classical music, right? I mean,
Absolutely.
honestly, they're the ones they're all so often in our older generation, they're the reason you and I are able to come to work and do something we love every day. They've been
Exactly
supporters
right.
of this art form. So, yes, bring it to them. Wonderful. We're gonna take a little break and hear a little Don Giovanni. This is the Mask Trio. Gorgeous music. Can you give a very brief, brief? It's so hard in opera, but we're gonna try a little brief synopsis about where we're at in the production and what's happening.
Well, I mean, Don Giovanni himself is such a character, and Don Giovanni is just the Italian version of Don Juan, and so he is a bit of a nutso guy who is a bit of a womanizer, and Leporello is his sidekick, and who is not always a willing sidekick. And then Donna Anna and Donna Elvira are the two females in the show who really are at the center of the story. And Zerlina, of course, as well is Don Giovanni's desired love, who's maybe not necessarily fully on board with the situation, but feels pressured because of her situation and her social status. So, yeah, it is the Don Juan story essentially, and he meets his demise.
Okay, here we go. The Mask Trio. We'll be back and talk more with Bradley Baker about music on site. That beautiful music, The Mask Trio from Don Giovanni. Don Giovanni is one of the operas that you can go and watch. It is produced by Music on Site. Jen Stevenson and Brad Baker, co-founders, executive and artistic directors, husband and wife. They founded this organization in 2016, and they're here in Kansas every December. The opera is not only Don Giovanni, Amal and the Night Visitors, uh, a new modern work, Notes on Viardot by Ching, and then also an opera scenes showcase. Well, Brad is here with me in the green room. We're talking all about it. Can you talk a bit about the logistics of getting all of these singers to Kansas, coming up with a rehearsal schedule, helping them finding housing, whether it's an Airbnb or maybe a homestay, and everything that goes on behind the scenes?
Yeah, it's a lot. We have this year we have about 150 artists who are coming to Wichita. We have 116 singers. We have 18 apprentice pianist coaches who are coming, as well as some directors and conductors who are here this year. And so there are a lot of emails written, a lot of logistics that take place to make sure everything functions well. Friends University has been absolutely fantastic in their hosting of our rehearsals. Every year, they just open up their beautiful renovated Rhiney Fine Arts Center, and we have all of our rehearsals there, and it's a busy time on campus there, and then we go out from there and do performances at Friends, but then in many other places as well.
The singers who come, I imagine a lot of them probably are in contact with one another before they arrive. Maybe they find housing together or reach out and see if there are people in the community who do homestays and things of that nature.
Exactly. Yeah, exactly. I mean, as you know, I mean the opera singing community is small, and so every year it's always a fun thing when we share our contact list with the singers, and we start to see connections start to be made and such. And one of the things that we're really passionate about as educators is that we offer these educational and professional development opportunities at no cost. So the only thing that they have to do is find their way here and find a place to stay. And usually, like you said, they'll find friends with a contact list and get together and share an Airbnb, and it becomes a really affordable way for them to be in Wichita. And the fun thing for us too, as folks who lived in Kansas for 5, 6 years when we worked there. We're a huge fan of Wichita and the surrounding areas, and so it's super fun to see all of these people who have never been to Wichita or Kansas as a state at all. And then there are some of them who have come back multiple times to sing with us, and they've been to Kansas only because of Music on Site, and now they know they also know that Wichita is a cool place to go and visit, so they become Wichita fans as well. So it's a lot of fun. We have a lot of fun together and put on some beautiful art in the process.
I think most people who spend an amount of time here become Wichita fans. I'm
Oh my God,
biased though.
it's amazing. So much great food,
That's what I always
beautiful.
say. I always tell that to people. I was like, well, when you come, you're going to eat really well.
Oh my
You're a
God,
food, it's a foodie
yeah.
town. And they
We
look
have,
at me like, what? No. I'm like, no, yes.
yeah,
Especially if
absolutely.
you love Lebanese food, Mediterranean
Oh,
food. Oh my gosh.
anything. Absolutely. We have a wonderful city guide that we've put together that's like 80 pages long. We couldn't stop writing down recommendations for things. So um the singers the opera artists who come in, they always have lots to do while they're there.
So your season begins on December the 17th with your Opera Scenes showcase. That opening performance is at the Riney Fine Arts Center on Friends University campus. And then you go, go, go until December the 22nd. So within that time span, you have two performances of the opera Notes on Viardot. You have two opera scenes showcases. You have four performances of Menotti's Amal and the Night Visitors and three performances of Mozart's Don Giovanni, all within that time span. So, if somebody's interested in this and they want to come, you mentioned needing to reserve a ticket. You don't pay for a ticket, but you reserve one in advance. Where do they go for that?
You can go to our website. It's www.musiconsite.org. That's music on SITE .org. And there's a big red button at the top of the website. Just click that button, and it'll take you to reserve your seat. And this goes for folks who also are maybe not able to get out. There is a live stream link that is sent with your ticket. So if you want to watch the show, but maybe you're not feeling well or something that day, or maybe it's just too cold that night. No big deal. Reserve your ticket and you'll receive a live stream link because we do live stream all of our performances as well.
Congratulations on this endeavor, which has grown to be something quite special. Enjoy sharing music with people this holiday season and enjoy this new crop of singers and performers, some of whom have been here before, but for many it'll be their first time in Kansas. So,
So,
congratulations on everything and have a really good run.
thank you so much. It's great to see you again.
You're welcome anytime. One more time, that website is musiconsite.org. Is that right? Org?
Yes.
All
Yes.
right. Music on Site, SITE. Thanks, Brad.
Thank you.